Ayan, magandang araw po mga future scholar ng bayan, ating mga future kolehiyo and kolehiyalas. Welcome to another series of the basics of physics. And this is still under the paghahanda para sa kinabukasan 2. And for this session, magfo-focus tayo sa ating electricity and magnetism. And that, without any further, let us go. Okay, so let's start electromagnetism with the electric charge. Electric charge is the fundamental property of matters that causes electromagnetic force. Meron po tayong dalawang forces. We have positive and we have the negative charge. Kapag po nagsama ang dalawang positive or dalawang negative, ang force po natin ay repulsive, meaning ito ay magre-repel. Kapag naman isang positive at isang negative, ito naman po ay force of attraction. Electric charge cannot be created nor destroyed. They are only transferred according to the conservation law, and they come in discrete units called quanta. And we can quantify the forces of these electrical charges by applying the Coulomb's law. It states that the force of attraction or repulsion between two bodies is directly proportional to the product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Ibig sabihin, ang dalawang charges po kapag malayo sa isa't isa, mas bumababa ang kanilang electrical force. Compared sa mas malapit sila, mas lumalakas po ang kanilang electrical force. And that is according to Coulomb's law. Okay, equation-wise, Coulomb's law is this. Electrical force is equals to K multiplied by Q1 multiplied by Q2 all over R square, wherein Fe is the force, K is the Coulomb's constant, which is 8.987 times 10 raised to the 9 Newton meter square Coulomb square. Q1 and Q2 are the signed magnitude of the charges, and R is the distance between the charges. Okay, let's solve this problem. 2-point charges are placed 3 meters apart. Ang Q1 natin is positive 2 microcoulombs. Ang ating pangalawang charge is positive 3 microcoulombs. So what we are going to do is to calculate the electrostatic forces between them. Okay, our given facts. K is the Coulomb's constant, 8.99 times 10 raised to the 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Q1 is equals to 2 times 10 raised to the negative 6 coulombs kasi naka-microcoulombs yan. But for cancellation purposes, gagawin natin siyang coulombs. And therefore, ginawa natin siyang naka-scientific notation and raised into power of negative 6. Q2 is equals to 3 times 10 raised to the negative 6 coulombs. And R is equals to 3 meters. And our equation is F is equals to K multiplied by Q1 multiplied by Q2 all over R squared. Okay, so isolve natin. Let us substitute the values. F is equals to 8.99 times 10 raised to the 9 multiplied by 2 times 10 raised to the negative 6 multiplied by 3 times 10 raised to the negative 6 all over 3 squared. It will give us F is equals to, ipag-multiply na natin yung dalawang charges. So, 2 times 10 raised to the negative 6 multiplied by 3 times 10 raised to the negative 6. Pag multiply, that will give us 6 times 10 raised to the negative 12 power. Okay, now we have F is equals to 8.99 times 10 raised to the 9 multiplied by 6 times 10 raised to the negative 12 all over 9. Yun yung result ng ating 3 square. 3 squared is equals to 9. And then, multiply na natin yung columns constant and then yung sa charges. F is equals to 53.94 multiplied by 10 raised to the negative 3 divided by 9. And then after natin ma-divide, magkakaroon tayo ng sagot na F is equals to 5.99 times 10 raised to the negative 3 newtons. And we indicate kung anong klaseng force yan. Is it attractive or is it repulsive forces? And since meron tayong dalawang charges na pares positive, yan po ay repulsive forces. Kapag po ay isang positive at isang negative, doon lang po tayo magkakaroon ng attractive forces. Ngayon, dako naman tayo sa Ohm's Law, named after George Simon Ohm. This law states that the current that flows through most conductors is directly proportional to the voltage applied to it. Ibig sabihin, directly proportional, kapag tumaas po or nag-increase si current, tataas din si voltage. And in addition, these two are inversely proportional naman sa resistance. Meaning, kapag po tumaas ang resistance, bababa po ang current at ang voltage. Okay, so ito naman yung Ohm's law na yung mga quantities niya is naka-triangle depending sa kanilang relationship. So V is equals to volts, I is equals to current, ang unit niya is ampere, R is resistance, at ang unit naman niya is ohm. Ngayon, paano gamitin itong triangle na to is kung ano yung hinahanap nyo, takpan nyo lang. So, halimbawa, hinahanap nyo si V. Ang gagawin nyo, takpan nyo lang si V, tapos kung ano yung matira, kapag siya ay magkatabi, yan ay multiplication. At kapag naman siya ay nasa ibabaw isa, nasa ilalim yung isa, that means it is division. Okay, so halimbawa, hinahanap nga natin si V. Ang matitira ay si IR na magkatabi. So, ang magiging formula natin is V is equals to IR. Halimbawa naman is hinahanap natin si I, si current. Ang matitira ay si V sa taas, tapos si R sa ilalim. And therefore, ang formula natin is I is equals to V divided by R. The same goes naman kapag hinahanap natin si R sa resistance. Ang matitira ay si V sa taas at si I naman sa baba. And therefore, ating formula for finding the resistance is R is equals to V divided by I. Okay, sige, solve natin. If the resistance increases while voltage remains constant, what happens to the electric current? Kapag ganito na conceptual yung problem, ang gagawin nyo is you always assign those values equals to 1. Dahil for me, yun ay pinakamadali yung compute ang value ng 1. Okay? So with that, let R is equals to 1 ohm, V is equals to 1 V, I is equals to unknown. So yung hinahanap natin si current. Okay, let's apply the formula. Current is equals to voltage divided by the resistance. I is equals to 1 volt divided by 1 ohm. And I would be equal to 1 ampere. Pero ang tanong kasi is, kapag nag-increase daw yung resistance, so ang gagawin natin, we just add 1 doon sa resistance. Okay? So kanina, 1 yung ohm, and dagdagan natin ng isa, so magkakaroon tayo ng 2 ohms. Ngayon, para masagot natin yung problem, let R be equals to 2 ohms, V is equals to 1 volt, and I is equals to unknown. Ohm's law, gamitin natin yung formula, I is equals to V over R, and then we have I is equals to 1 volt divided by 2 ohm. So, ang sagot natin, nagkaroon tayo ng 1/2 ampere. Kanina ay 1, ngayon ay naging 1/2. So, ang sagot dyan, kapag nag-increase ang resistance while the voltage remains constant, ang mangyayari sa electric current is it will be halved or makakalahati siya. Okay, dako naman tayo sa series versus parallel circuits. Series circuits are closed circuits and they are not common in homes because they are not reliable sa mga wiring methods. And kapag po nag-fail yung isang bulb or yung isang devices sa series circuit, lahat po yon ay apektado na. So kung mamatay ang isang bulb, lahat po ng bulbs ay mamamatay na rin. Halimbawa, sa mga Christmas lights na naka-series, kapag namatay na yung isang ilaw, lahat yon mamamatay na. Which is the opposite ng parallel. Kaya ang parallel po ay commonly ginagamit sa bahay because of their reliable method of wiring. At kapag halimbawa napundi yung isang ilaw, yung isang bumbilya, hindi po maapektuhan yung mga katabi niyang mga bumbilya na nakaparallel sa kanya. And aside sa structure, nagkakaiba din ang series at parallel sa mga equations. For instance, sa series kapag hahanapin natin ng total voltage, kailangan nating i-add ang V sub 1 plus V sub 2 plus V sub 3. Pero kapag sa parallel, ang total voltage po ay pare-pares lang. So, total voltage is equals to V sub 1 is equals to V sub 2 is equals to V sub 3. Kapag naman sa current, ang series po, ang kanyang current ay pare-parehas. And therefore, the total current is equals to I sub 1 is equals to I sub 2 and is equals to I sub 3. Kabaliktad na naman sa parallel because ang total current niya ay pinagsama-sama or pinag-add ng mga current 1 plus current 2 plus current 3. As for the resistance naman sa series, tayo po kapag kumukuha tayo ng total resistance sa series, that would be R1 plus R2 plus R3. Wherein sa parallel, tayo po kapag kukuha ng total resistance, that would be 1 over total resistance is equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. At kung anong lalabas doon, kukunin natin ang reciprocal para makuha po natin si total resistance. Okay, let's solve this. A wire with resistance of 5 ohm carries a current of 2 amperes. Calculate the voltage across the wire. Okay, so given natin, we have resistance is equals to 5 ohm. Current natin, I is equals to 2 amperes. And ang hinahanap natin is si voltage. So we have the equation V is equals to IR as per the Ohm's law. And our solution, let us substitute the values. V is equals to 2 amperes multiplied by 5 ohms. And therefore, to multiply by 5, that will give us the voltage of 10 volts. Okay, ngayon, apply naman natin na si Ohm's law sa pagsosolve ng mga circuit problems. So, in a series circuit with a 12-volt battery and two 4 ohms resistors, connected in series, what is the total current flowing through the circuit? Okay, so our given R1 is equals to 4 ohm, R2 is equals to 4 ohm also, V is equals to 12 volts, I is equals to unknown. So first, get the total resistance in a series circuit. The total resistance is equals to R1 plus R2. Total resistance, substitute natin yung value, that would be 4 ohm plus 4 ohm. And therefore, meron tayo total resistance of 8 ohm. And now na meron na tayong total resistance, pwede na tayong mag-apply ng Ohm's law. So ating given, yung nakuha nating total resistance kanina, that would be 8 ohm. And then ating voltage is equals to 12 volt. I, yung ating current is unknown. And now we apply the Ohm's law. So dahil hinahanap natin si I, ang ating magiging formula is I is equals to the voltage divided by the resistance. We substitute the value, we get I is equals to 12 volt divided by 8 ohm. And then we divide it, 12 divided by 8, that will give us the answer of 1.5 amperes. Okay, another problem. A 12-volt battery is connected to R1 is equals to 4 ohm in series with two parallel resistors. R2 is equals to 6 ohm and R3 is equals to 3 ohms. So we are tasked to find three things. A is the equivalent resistance. B is for the total current from battery. And letter C is for the current through each resistance. Okay, so you may feel free to pause this video and try to solve it on your own. And then afterwards, we will check it. Okay, so unahin natin yung equivalent resistance no parallel. So that would be 1 over the R total is equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. So in this case, that would be 1 over R2, 3 kasi ang resistor na kinukuha natin is the R2 and then the R3. So again, 1 over R2, 3 is equals to 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. And then substitute the values. 1 over R2, 3 is equals to 1 over 6 plus 1 over 3. And then let us find the LCD. Ang LCD niya ay 6. And that will give us 1 over R2, 3 is equals to 1 over 6 plus 2 over 6. And since parehas na sila ng denominator, pwede na natin silang i-add. And that will give us 1 over R2, 3 is equals to 1 plus 2, 3, copy the denominator, 6. So meron tayong 3 over 6 or pwede nating kunin ang kanyang lowest term na 1 half. Meron na tayong 1 over R2, 3 and that is equals to 1 half. Pero ang hinahanap natin is si R2, 3. So, ang gagawin natin is kukunin natin si reciprocal niya. And kapag binaliktad natin yan, yung 1 over R2, 3 magiging R2, 3. And then yung 1 half, kapag kinuha natin yung reciprocal, binaliktad natin, 1 half, that would be 2 over 1 or simply 2. So, ang sagot natin is R2, 3 is equals to 2 ohm. Okay, so kaya natin kinuha muna yung R2, 3 kasi hindi natin makukuha yung total resistance nung nasa series. Kasi kailangan niya yung R1 tsaka yung R2, 3. So, ito ngayon ang gagawin natin. R total is equals to R1 plus R2, 3. So, R total is equals to, nakuha natin, na 2, tapos yung R1 is 4. So, that would be R total is equals to 6 ohms. And now, pwede na tayo magpunta sa ating total current. The total current natin is equals to V over RT, which is the Ohm's law. So, IT is equals to 12 volt divided by 6 ohms. And then the total current is equals to 12 divided by 6. Meron tayong 2 amperes. Okay, ngayon meron na tayong current, total current. Pwede natin kunin si letter C, the current through each resistors. So, ating current through R1 na connected through a series circuit ay equal lang naman yung kanyang current kasi according sa nakita natin kanina, kapag series po, lahat ng kanyang current ay equal. So, therefore, I1 is equals to the total current. And current 1 or yung I1 is equals to 2 ampere kasi ang total current natin is 2 amperes. And then kapag naman pupunta na tayo sa pagkuha sa nakaparallel section, ang gagawin natin is V sub 2, 3 is equals to the total current multiplied by the resistance of 2, 3. So the voltage 2, 3 is equals to 2A times 2 ohm, and that will give us 2 times 2, meron tayo 4 volts. So the voltage of 2, 3 is equals to 4 volts. Bakit po kinuha si volt 2, 3? Kasi po gagamitin natin yan sa pag-compute kung ilan yung current na nandoon sa resistor connected in parallel circuit. Okay, so yung nakuha natin na volt 2, 3, which is 4 volts, gagamitin natin kay R2. And then let's apply Ohm's law. I2 is equals to the volt sub 2, 3 divided by the R2. It will give us the current 2, or the I sub 2 is equals to 4 volt divided by the 6 ohm. Okay, 4 divided by 6, that will give us 0.667 amperes. Next, punta naman tayo kay R3. Current 3 is equals to volt 2, 3 divided by R3. So ating current 3 is equals to 4 volt divided by 3 ohms. And then 4 divided by 3, it will give us the answer of 1.333 amperes. Okay, ngayon, punta na tayo sa resistor. Resistor limits the current flow. It divides the voltage and protect components within a circuit. Kaya nga kanina, according sa Ohm's law, ito yung indirect ang proportion sa current at saka sa voltage. Na kapag ito ay tumataas, kapag po tumataas ang resistors, bumababa naman ang current at ang voltage kasi nga siya yung nagli-limit doon sa dalawa. Resistors are actually color-coded, no? So we have the black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, hanggang silver. So yung mga colors na yan ay meron niyang naka-indicate or meron niyang mga corresponding numbers. So kapag yung color is the first band, titingnan natin simula sa left. Kapag ito ay nasa first band, ito ay may corresponding na number. Kapag ito ay black, it will be 0. Kapag naman brown, it is 1. Kapag naman red, it is 2. Kapag naman second band, ayan po, black 0, brown is also 1, red is also 2. Kapag naman yung color is pangatlo na, it is the third band, it is the multiplier. And then, kapag naman fourth band, pang-apat na yung kulay, it signifies the tolerance po na meron yung resistor na yon. And ito yung example ng color-coded na resistor. Okay, simula sa left ang pagbasa po natin ng color. So, simula sa left, we have the first digit. Yung pangalawang band is the second digit. And then yung pangatlo naman, that would be the multiplier. And then the fourth is the tolerance po. Okay, so sa example natin kanina, we have the colors yellow, violet, red, and gold. Okay, simulan natin sa first band, which is the first digit. That would be yellow. Ano ba ang first digit na corresponding kapag ito ay yellow? That would be 4. Next naman, violet. Violet would be the second digit since it is the second bond. So, violet is 7. And then, hanapin natin ang multiplier, color red. Multiplier kapag color red is times 100. And Gold naman, kapag siya ay sa tolerance, that would be positive, negative 5%. And therefore, ang numbers po for this resistor would be 4,700 ohm, positive, negative 5%. Paano po nakuha yung 4,700? Just simply multiply the 47 doon sa multiplier niya, which is 100. At doon, makukuha natin si 4,700 ohm. We also have the capacitor na dahilan na kahit hinugot na natin yung charger, ay meron pa ring magcha-charge sa phone natin ng kahit 1 to 2 seconds lang. Because capacitor stores electrical energy in an electric field by accumulating charge on two closely spaced conductive plates separated by an insulating material which is dielectric. We also have this what we call the rectifier. It converts AC or the alternating current which reverses direction into direct current o yung tinatawag naman nating DC, which only flows in one direction. And we also have this transformer, yung mga nakikita natin sa poste ng kuryente, no? So the transformer is a device that is used for increasing or decreasing AC voltage by induction. Kaya po yung mga nasa residential, hindi po pwedeng magkaroon agad-agad ng kuryente ng wala pong transformer na naka-install para sa inyo because ito po yung responsible para po mag-increase or mag-decrease po ng ating voltage. And itong si transformer, meron din itong dalawang types. Meron tayong step up and meron din tayong step down. Step up kapag it increases the output voltage. And kapag naman step down, nagde-decrease naman siya ng output voltage. Again, step up, tandaan lang natin yung keyword na nag-i-increase. And then step down, kapag siya step down transformer, nagde-decrease siya ng output voltage. Sa loob ng transformer, meron tayong tinatawag na primary and secondary coil. The primary winding of a transformer, siya naman yung nagre-receive ng AC input power from the source. While yung secondary winding naman, ito naman yung nagde-deliver ng transform output power to the load. So, in terms kapag siya ay input, siya po ay dadaan kay primary at ito itatransform po and then ibibigay ito ng secondary papunta po kung nasaan yung load po. Meron ding equation para sa transformer which is V sub P divided by V sub S is equals to N sub P over N sub S, wherein V sub P is equals to the primary voltage and then V sub S is equals to secondary voltage. N sub P is equals to the number of turns in the primary and N sub S is the number of turns in the secondary coil. Okay, let us try solving a problem involving transformer equation. The number of primary and secondary windings is 60 and 100 respectively. The secondary voltage is given by 250 volt. So let us determine the primary voltage. Okay, so given natin, we have N sub P is equals to 60, N sub S is equals to 100, V sub S is equals to 250 volts, and then V sub P is equals to question mark dahil siya yung hinahanap natin. And then we have this equation, V sub P divided by V sub S is equals to N sub P divided by N sub S. Okay, ang hinahanap natin ay si V sub P. Ang gagawin natin, we will derive para ma-isolate natin si V sub P. And then we will arrive sa equation na V sub P is equals to N sub P divided by N sub S multiplied by V sub S. So with that equation, let us substitute the values. We have V sub P is equals to 60 divided by 100 times 250. So performing all those operations, we have V sub P is equals to 150 volt. Okay, and then we have the Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's law states that the total current entering a junction or a node is equal to the charge leaving the node as no charge is lost. Sabihin kung ilan daw yung pumapasok na charge or the current, ay dapat po ganun din ang lalabas. Kaya kapag pinagsama natin yan, ang magiging total po ng ating current ay 0 po. And that is according to Kirchhoff's law. And since we are in the talks about electricity, it is also important na malaman natin ano ba yung electric conductor and ano yung mga electrical insulators. So electrical conductor, example, ay silver, gold, copper, steel, or seawater. Yan po mga electrical conductors na yan, they are the materials that allows the electricity to pass through. And then 5 electrical insulators, meron tayong rubber, glass, oil, diamond, and dry wood. Kung ang conductors, they allow the electricity to pass through, ang electrical insulators naman po ang gumagawa ng opposite. They do not allow the electricity to pass through, kaya sa mga wires po natin, yung sa loob ng wire, usually ay copper, yan po ay mga electrical conductors. Pero ito ay binabalutan para mag-serve as insulators. Para po kapag hinawakan natin ay hindi po tayo makukuryente. Kaya ang mga wire natin ay meron po mga balot para po sa safety purposes po natin and ng mga nagtatrabaho in the line of electricity. And kung meron tayong conductor and insulators, meron din naman tayong mga semiconductors. They can act either as a conductor or as an insulator of electricity. And their conductivity increases with temperature because heat energy enables electrons in the valence band to move to the conduction band. And kapag meron po tayong movement of electrons, doon tayo magkakaroon ng current. And kapag meron tayong current, doon lang tayo magkakaroon ng electricity. So, ganun po ang mechanism ng mga semiconductors. Kapag hindi sila iniinitan or they are not subjected to increased temperature, sila po ay insulator. But with enough temperature, with enough increased temperature, they can serve as conductors. Okay, punta na tayo sa magnetism. Then we start with the magnetic field. It is the region where magnetic force is exerted and it cannot be seen directly but we can detect the effects. Ang unit po ng magnetic field is Tesla, denoted by capital letter T or Gauss. Yung 1 Tesla is equals to 10,000 Gauss. We also have the magnetic force which we can quantify by this equation. F is equals to Q multiplied by V multiplied by B multiplied by sine theta, where F is equals to the force measured in newtons, Q is equals to charge, which is measured in coulombs, V is equals to velocity of charge, the capital letter B is equals to the magnetic field strength, and theta is equals to the angle between velocity and the field. Okay, now let's discuss the force on current carrying conductors na ginagamit ng mga electric motors, loudspeakers, and mass spectrometers. So this force on current carrying conductor is a wire carrying current which is just moving charges. So it experiences force in magnetic fields. And we can quantify this force by using this equation. F is equals to I multiplied by L multiplied by B and multiplied by sine theta, where I is equals to the current, L is equals to the length of the conductor in the field, B is equals to the magnetic field strength, and then the theta is equals to the angle between the conductor and the field. We also have the magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is the total magnetic field passing through a surface, and it is a measure of how much field goes through an area. And of course, this is physics. Magnetic flux can also be quantified. Okay? With this equation, P is equals to B times A times cosine theta, where phi, which is a Greek letter, is equals to magnetic flux, and it is measured in Weber. B is equals to magnetic field perpendicular to the surface. A is equals to the surface area, while theta is equals to the angle between the field and normal to surface. And in terms of magnetic properties of materials, we have three. We have diamagnetic, we have paramagnetic, and we have ferromagnetic. Let's start with diamagnetic. Diamagnetic is weakly repelled by magnetic field, and there is no permanent magnetization. Example ay copper, water, and some of the most materials. Paramagnetic is weakly attracted also to the magnetic field, and it is aligned with external field. Examples po ay aluminum and oxygen. Ferromagnetic, however, is strongly attracted to magnetic field, and they can become permanent magnets. Ito yung usually ginagamit natin as magnets. And they're examples of iron, cobalt, and nickel. Ito yung examples sa mga directions nila sa magnetic field. When a ferromagnetic has no applied magnetic field, naka-align pa rin siya sa direction ng ating magnetic field. And kapag naman na-applied ang magnetic field, naka-align pa rin siya. Kaya siya ay strongly attracted to magnetic field. While for paramagnetic naman, when there's no applied magnetic field, makikita natin na magkakaibang direction siya. So it's just weakly attracted to the magnetic field. When there is the applied magnetic field, doon lang sila na-align. And then, diamagnetic, there's no magnetism kapag walang applied magnetic field. But kapag naman meron, they are on the opposite direction po ng ating magnetic field. And that's why they are weakly repelled as per the definition. And we also have two things that use the principle of electromagnetism para sila ay mag-function. And these are motors and generators. Motors convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. Again, from electrical energy into mechanical energy. For example is the electric fans po natin sa bahay. Ang electric fans, bago mo siya mapagana, kailangan mo muna siyang isaksak doon sa outlet. So in that sense, that was electrical energy papuntang mechanical energy. Paano po nasabing merong mechanical energy? Yun po ay dahil umiikot na po yung blades ng electric fans. So mula nung sinaksak mo siya, electrical energy, hanggang sa umikot na yung blade, and that was mechanical energy. For generators naman, it is the opposite. It converts mechanical energy into electricity. Halimbawa, sa mga wind turbines sa ating mga windmill, Yung mga windmill na yan, bago sila makapag-produce ng electricity, ang kailangan nila is wind, of course, para gumalaw. So, iikot muna yung kanilang blades because of the wind, and then that will activate yung pag-ikot naman ng turbine doon sa loob nila. And kapag umikot na yung turbine sa loob nila, doon sila makapag-produce ng electricity. So kabaliktaran siya ng electric fans natin dahil ang mga wind turbines natin ay iikot muna para makapag-produce ng electricity. And that ends our session for electromagnetism. Again, this is Teacher Joseph that always reminds you that do not forget to answer your formative assessment. And I'll see you next time on the next part of this series. Thank you so much and see you next time.